Hello and welcome to Demian Allen's Astrology and Tarot channel. Welcome to your October forecast using the tarot in the first operation of the opening key spread. And if you like the video, please press the like button. And if you like the channel, please subscribe. So this is going to be a tarot divination for October 2021. And we're going to look at the elements that are at play, what we can expect, the energies that are governing October. And if you want the astrological forecast, then obviously I've got another video on my channel that looks at October from an astrological perspective. Right, let's kickstart this month of October with the first pile of cards, which is the fire element in the opening key of the first operation of this particular tarot spread. And fire is essentially regarding the past. And the element of fire, of course, is about initiation, using one's initiative to move things forward. But fire can get out of control if we're not careful. So if we look at the first cards here that we've got, we're immediately drawn to a major arcana card, which in the Thoth deck is the card of adjustment, or in other tarot decks is known as the Justice card. Interestingly, this refers to the month of October, or when the sun is in Libra. And it's an interesting card because, yes, it talks about balance. It's an air card, the element of air. So the element of fire and air go really well together. And it's maintaining that balance. The figure in the card is nicely balanced on this sword that it's got firmly into the ground, and is keeping the scales in balance here. Air is about being objective. It's also about legal matters, or organisations that have a legal backup to them taking control. So anything to do with legal aspects, anything to do with diplomacy is particularly strong with the adjustment card. It's looking at both sides of the story, not just taking one side. It's stepping back and with that air clarity, viewing things from the two sides and then coming to a decision. But this is interesting because it's in a fire pile and it's an air element and it's in the past, really. And there's been a lot of legal entanglements that's gone on here. Some people might say that there's justice has prevailed, and some people would say no, that's not the case. Polarity is extremely fluid under the adjustment card. Diplomacy is also, some people can see as diplomacy working well, some people say, well, it's actually not. But in an astrological basis, the seventh house and the Libran zodiac sign is a lot to do with other people and other people's viewpoints that we have to respond to. And I think what this really kind of symbolizes for October is that we are going to be bombarded by other people's opinions that we may not in the past have taken seriously, or that we've not really feel that they should be commenting on us. And I think this is going to be kind of interesting because I think this symbolizes other people's points of view, of views from maybe another country or other countries that have an experience in legal matters, or other governments commenting on their own. And this would also symbolize that there's a lot of fire energy going into legal aspects or documents needing to be signed during this particular period. And diplomacy is going to be the number one word to get through this particular month. And striking a balance between oppositions is going to be absolutely key when you're dealing with the adjustment card. And it's that cold blue the colour that you see in the card of clarity and thinking here that needs to prevail more than anything else. If we become too fiery, as it's in the fire element, then that can lead to things just becoming really out of control far too quickly. So, Major Arcana card always symbolizes external major events. Let's go on to the war, to the emotional angle from a collective point of view. Right, this is getting really interesting here. So what we have here is we have the Death card. More importantly, we have the Scorpio card. So again, we've got the Libran card and then Scorpio. So Libra and Scorpio, of course, they follow each other in the zodiac from October to November here. So there's an interesting connection that's happening here. And sometimes, the cards will do that. They're actually symbolize more of a timeline that's coming up here. A Death card is always a card that can be misunderstood. The use of transformation comes in a lot, which can be a little bit vague at times. But that's from an emotional point of view, from a security point of view. That's what we're feeling now. A lot of us, there is change is around us. How do we adapt to it? How do we respond to it? What can we do about it? We have to dig deep. We have to find strength from somewhere. We have to find our own inner truth is particularly key. Under this energy, we have to unlock the secrets of ourselves and others around us. We have to let go of the past patterns and behaviors. These are all from an emotional point of view. They're not necessarily from an external active point of view. They're emotional, but it is a really kind of important stage of development. And in the Northern Hemisphere, of course, we're into the autumnal period, the end of autumn. We've got Samhain. We've got this energy of being close to the ancestors. The veil between the two worlds is that it's finished. So this is becoming like we become more emotional. We become much more sensitive. We start to understand that there's a bigger process that's going on here, and we want to know what it is and what guides us. And it's great for spirituality and it's great for creativity, but it also can be harmful that we're entering into our own labyrinth for our own making. In terms from an emotional point of view, that we cannot be objective, that we cannot see clarity, that we just indulge in our own emotions and our own transformations and not listen to other people around us. It's a very important time. And when you bring that in with the adjustment card, that's two elements that are really kind of fighting each other, clarity and then the emotional angle. And here's the good news. This is a water card as symbolized by the Scorpio here. It's in a water pile. So people are emotionally connected quite a bit. They're emotionally connecting. Sometimes that can make people feel overly sensitive, but at least they're emotionally connected. At least they feel that they're actually getting somewhere. So it could be very, very positive in a lot of ways. We're prepared to let go. We're prepared to take a chance. We're prepared to see things from a different point of view. This is becoming really important in this particular reading, seeing things from a different point of view. So this is a really kind of important aspect that's coming out, and this is for October, particularly and the last week of October when the sun comes into Scorpio. This is when that energy will really rise to service for a lot of us. Okay, let's look at the air element and what's blocking us. Interestingly, what's blocking us from making decisions, from having clarity, from a mental place. The Ace of Swords wants to cut through everything, wants to get through, just make a decision for a decision's sake. No, let's not bring in sentimentality. Let's not bring in how do you feel about this? Let's just get on with it. This is a complete contradiction to what we have with the Death card. I mean, the air of Swords is in an air pile, so it's comfortable. The elemental dignities are really comfortable, but it wants to cut through, and it can't. It can't in this particular pile. This is our obstacles. We cannot make decisions. This keeps coming up. We're unable to, and maybe because we're too emotional. Maybe because we're too responsive. or governments are too responsive to what the emotional fears of people are, and therefore we're making decisions without any real kind of foresight, without any conception of how that actually is going to turn out. Is it going to be for the benefit? We are completely besotted by fears and emotions, and this is intensified in October, simply because the air wants to just make decisions in a very, very logical way, and it cannot. It's stopping us from doing that. At the moment, we've got the 2 air cards at the top here, so there is an element of wanting to push through that energy of the mental clarity. It's wanting to get rid of all of the emotions and all of the sort of fears. And of course, emotions and fears are really important, but at the same time, sometimes you can't do anything with that. You have to go to the logical to make decisions that's gonna guide us to see what's ahead. We're unable to. Let's look at the future pile and the earth pile, the practical. Well, here we go. These are 3 major arcana cards, which always tells me that October is a huge month from an energetic point of view. And the final card is an earth card. It symbolizes, interestingly, Virgo, and it's the Hermit. And the Hermit needs to step back. The Hermit needs reflection and time out. If the Hermit has got too much time out, then that becomes a problem. That becomes a major issue. And as far as I can see here, there are warnings that are afoot at this. That we have to be very careful, that we don't go too into ourselves, that we don't cut ourselves from other people's opinions. Remember what I was saying at the beginning, that if we're not prepared to listen to other countries' maybe opinions, we cut ourselves off. Virgo also usually symbolizes the health as well, general health matters, and jobs that are at service to others. So this is what I mean about making decisions in that arena and not being able to. The health of the nation, the people who are in service to others or service industries. There's a bit of navel gazing coming up. There's a bit of non-reaction because of the fear of what it may lead to. This is governed by fear. This is externalized in the way that we attack October and the way that we respond to it. And you could say, well, yeah, but that's been happening a lot. I know, it has. Since the pandemic, it's been happening a lot. But October is a really kind of turning point energetically. It's when fears come right to the surface. In the northern hemisphere, it might be because you have the autumnal mists, you have the darkness that comes in. So there's a natural feeling of one's fears taking over. One's inner security is being tested. And the worst thing we can do is go too much into ourselves as a country, but that's what's kind of happening. I have to say that if you're born under the astrological sign of Virgo, Libra and Scorpio, then you might be feeling this a lot more in October, because these are the cards that come up and represent you. And so you are the ones that may have that fear. You are the ones that may want to make decisions that you feel like you can't make decisions. So this October is going to be a month where, we're dealing with people's fears, but we're unable to actually act on them. We're unable to see a direction forward. We are unable to see things from a clear perspective. But we have to. And we have to look at health sector, and we have to look at service industries. That's what the Hermit is demanding that we do, from a point of view of reflection, clarity, and then action. And if we're not able to do that, then we get stuck in a loop, which is the adjustment, death, and the Ace of Swords. So quite a month for us all. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that video. Like I say, press the like button if you like it. And please press the subscribe button. And thank you very much for watching.